All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another video. All right, y'all, so a few days ago, I think either Friday or Saturday, I did a live stream on this topic, and I just kind of did it on the fly, so I feel like there was a few points that I missed, because sometimes, these lives, I come up with a topic, I just kind of, just go off the dome, I just kind of freestyle them, so I missed out on some things, so I just wanted to come back and do a video and cover those points, and just in case y'all don't want to scrub through the live, because sometimes the live streams, they get kind of long. Just in case y'all don't want to scrub through, I just wanted to go ahead and do a video on this topic, and y'all can hear the video, give y'all thoughts and comments in the video. All right. So yeah, the topic was Valentina Shevchenko versus Taila Santos 2. And the question that I asked in the live stream was, is it a high demand rematch that needs to happen immediately? All right. And like I said a few days ago, I'm kind of 50-50 on that question. Yes, I feel like it is a high demand rematch. It's a rematch that needs to happen, but no, it doesn't need to happen immediately. I think it is a high demand rematch because a lot of fans want to see this fight, including myself, because this was Shevchenko's most competitive flyweight fight to date. It is a fight that could spawn a potential rivalry, for both fighters, because we haven't seen Shevchenko handle like this in some rounds or lose more than one round before at flyweight. Santos, she's definitely a fighter that's bringing a skill level on the ground. She's naturally gifted too, so that makes her style clash well and bring the best out of the bullet, right? So like I said, I want to see them run it back again, but should it be immediate? Should it be the next fight? No, I don't think so, because I think it's a fight that can be revisited once they both take care of business, against whoever else, some of the other fighters around them, and they can kind of take the time out to review the first fight and make the right improvements. Because even though the fight was a split decision, I'm going to say this, some people are going to disagree. Even though the fight was a split decision, after looking at it, several times, I don't think fully that Valentina Shevchenko was ever like fully in danger in the fight. There were some competitive moments and there was some moments in the fight where, Valentina did look to be in trouble, but she was never hurt or damaged by Santos. She was never really like fully hurt or damaged to the point we were like, oh, questioning Valentina Shevchenko in the fight where she was going to get stopped, or she was like really, really behind on the cards, right? Santos had some good submission moments and had Val in some compromising positions, but Val always had the ability to neutralize. Let's be real. She did neutralize some of those moments on the ground with some good hand fighting, tucking her chin and still scoring some shots, still staying busy. Santos, she was able to make rounds close and even take some rounds on one judge's scorecards and even in the fans' eyes and just make them tough to score. But she was never really putting Shevchenko in a realm of frustration. She was never really on the verge of breaking Shevchenko's will and making Shevchenko respect her, right? Shevchenko was still always in the fight, even though she was getting out-strengthened in there, right? Shevchenko, she still continued to fight her fight and even fight her on the inside, which gave Santos moments where she was able to grind out some, ground control. But I feel like even then, Santos missed a lot of opportunities. Rounds 1 and 2, she was able to out-hustle Shevchenko and get some good positions and go for submissions, but she never really let her hands go on the ground. It was Shevchenko that was letting her hands go doing damage. See, if Santos was letting her hands go, she could have did more damage on the champion. And you have to leave some type of mark on a champion to get your statement across. It can't just be grappling. This just ain't a grappling match. It's MMA as well, right? Round 3, it was another good round, but again, Shevchenko still knew she had another gear, which was on the feet, and she could outstrike the grappler. So all the while, she's still scoring these points because as a champion, she knows that you got to switch gears. You can't just focus on one thing. Santos was definitely stronger in the wrestling and takedowns, got her what she wanted, but the champ still had enough tools. The champ still had enough tools in there. And Santos, she was outstrengthened the champion, but she couldn't dismantle her. So that's something you have to look at too. Like, there was never really a moment where Santos was taking over or, just shutting down certain things Valentina did. She was just overpowering Valentina and out-strengthening and out-grappling. So the rounds, they were close with Santos, with the few tools that she had, she could shock the champion. But I never felt like Shevchenko was completely outgunned, which leads me to think Shevchenko, her IQ is high enough to make the necessary corrections in an immediate rematch. That's why it doesn't need to happen right now for Santos's sake, because Shevchenko, her IQ is high enough to make those necessary corrections if the rematch happens immediately. Because sometimes in the first fight, it was Shevchenko's own fault for getting in close and getting taken to the ground, because she tried to toss Santos down, and Santos would take over. She would take control. So if Shevchenko doesn't let the ego take over again like she did in the first fight, she could just pick back up where she left off in rounds 4 and 5 and just use her superior hands and use those kicks to the body and pick Santos apart if she wanted to. You know what I mean? So there's more tools there for Shevchenko, because she was already using them in this fight. So if she commits more to those tools in the second fight, it could be a much easier fight, especially going right back in, because then Shevchenko could say, you know what, first time, okay, towards the end of the fight, if I just pick up where I left off here and I was just getting her respect on the feet and I was busting her up, that's where I'm going. Let me just say, forget the ground, forget her strength. She could take me down and hurt me. So let me just go ahead and commit to what I could do, right? So Santos, for me, she can take the time to make sure the eye is healed up, just like Valentina said as well. Don't listen to the fans. Just take the time to heal up. And in the meantime, take another fight. Just take another fight to get some work in and make some improvements. Take that time out, make some improvements, practice some of that stuff on another opponent, that can help build her confidence. Because I think with what Santos presented the first time around, it was more of just a shocker to the champ, because Shevchenko never really faced any contenders with that type of strength and that type of momentum before. You know what I mean? Somebody that was really going after, somebody that was willing to come in there with a certain game plan. So if Santos adds more to her arsenal this time around, she would have more success. Being confident in her own striking and taking chances, those are some tools that she really needs. Being confident on the feet. Some people said she don't need to strike with her. She's got to. She's got to use some of her striking. She's got to take her chances. I mean, her wrestling, we already know it's effective to this point, and she can get takedowns, but she's got to get more than just position. She's got to go for ground and pound. She's got to do damage the same way Valentina was doing. She's got to go for damage points here. I know just opening one cut can't do anything, but if the judges see you working and they see you constantly working and they see that fighter get up with a busted eye or red face, they're going to look at that type of stuff. So you got to do damage. It just can't be ground control and just holding, because sometimes those moments are going to be questionable to judges on how to score it. One judge gave her the fight, but the other two, they said, hey, Valentina, she was active. She was much more smarter. She was doing the effective work, so we're going to give it to her, right? So you just got to look at all of that, on Santos's part. She got to take the time to review and say, okay, we came in hard. We had the championship on our mind, but we need to add more to our game. So if she adds more to her game this time around, she's going to have more confidence. And, that's going to help her, take it to another level, more so than just, like I said, ground control. She's going to have to work on being dominant and working on doing damage to Valentina Shevchenko. And again, like I talked about in other videos, Shevchenko has two other potential contenders. She has two other potential contenders and two good fights happening in the next 2 weeks. So that's another reason why we don't need an immediate rematch, because these other two fighters, they could earn a shot. The winner of Araujo Grasso, to me, doesn't necessarily deserve a title shot. Like I said, that's a fight that's just going to answer questions, but they could do something big in that 5-round fight that impresses Dana White and says Araujo gets the title shot or Grasso gets the title shot, right? So you got that fight. Then, of course, Manone and Chikagan. You know what I mean? Chikagan being number one. And then you got Manone in the position that Taila Santos was in. Young, hungry lion coming up the flyweight division, right? It's always been down to Santos and Firo at this point. With Firo going on a 4-fight win streak, possibly 5-fight win streak, Val's got that fight ahead of her. So there's no need for an immediate rematch with Santos right now. This will give Santos time to work. So in the meantime, Santos has Lauren Murphy. Again, I like this fight. That's a good fight against a good gatekeeper that's going to test her strength against a good, strong grinder. She could go in there and work on her ground and pound, work on her actual, wrestling positions on somebody that big and that wide. That'll help her. If she could take somebody down like that and get the work in, again, just work on position where she can land shots and get full mount and work on, landing big shots, that's a good fight for her. All right. So, yeah, man, final thoughts. Yeah, It's a fight I want to see revisited, of course, because Taila is part of my quadruple threat or triple threat, whatever you want to call it. And I think she still has enough skills and enough, in her to change what she did in the first fight to possibly take that belt from Shevchenko. She has it in her. Let's be real. She's got the size and the strength and athleticism. All she has to do is put together some more technique, and you can see her going in there and taking the belt from Valentina. No lie. Let's be real. I got her in that triple threat for a reason. She's got what it takes to beat Valentina Shevchenko. She just has to find it. So yeah, let's take the time out. It's a high demand fight, but it doesn't need to happen as the next fight for either of these fighters. They got other stuff they can do to, make this fight interesting. They can go off and work and build this thing up, make a storyline to it, and make it happen, down the line. Sometime next year, but maybe later next year. All right? Because, yeah, I know the division isn't like this popping division where there's a contender here, but you got some legit fighters in there that deserve a chance. Even Chikagan deserves a chance if she's able to win the fight against Manon. Let's be real. She deserves another chance because 5-fight win streak, she's earned it, right? So, yeah, I just want to see it built up this time again because I think Santos has the ability to change it. There's just no need to rush it because I don't want to see the eye hurt, right away again, because she's not fully healed, and I want to see her add more to her game. I want to see her work with some different people that can help bring the best out of her. So, yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all think. High demand rematch that needs to happen immediately or just a high demand rematch that needs to happen sometime in the future. What do y'all think? Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Make sure y'all subscribe. Peace.